Hello, my astrology lovers. I'm kicking off a brand new series where I answer most of your questions about astrology, one video at a time. These questions are questions that I get all the time, whether you are DMing me, emailing me, or when we have one-on-one consultation, or just when I tell someone out in the streets that I am an astrologer. So if you ever wonder, what are my big three? Why do I need to know my big three? My sun, moon, rising. Why is that important? Why do people even ask that? What do they really mean? Then you are at the right place. Let's get started.
3, 2, 1.
I love you.
Hello, it's me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer, and welcome to this video. I normally do weekly forecasts. I break down natal charts. I have private community. I do my kitchen talk there. I do predictions that I really can't talk about on the public arena. So if you really love astrology, want more on astrology, go ahead and check out that. I'm also a tarot reader, so I do a lot of tarot readings, and you can ask me all your personal questions within my group. It's just $4.99. It's very affordable. Also too, when you join a group, you get discounts on all my other things. But if you are just here and you're here to learn and learn something new, please don't forget to subscribe, because this series, I'm going to keep going. Ask your questions down below and I will do another video answering your simple astrological questions. Let's talk about the big three. First of all, what are the big three? The big three is your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign. To get your rising sign, you must know your birth time and you must know where you were born. So you need to know the location of where you were born and you need to know your birth time. That is how you get your rising sign. Your sun sign, you just mostly need to know what day you're born. And your moon sign, the moon changes every 29.5 days. So if we can have a birth time, you'll get more of an accurate sign of your moon sign. So in a nutshell, to know those three things, you do need to know your birth time. If you don't know your birth time, there are special astrologists out there who can help you with that. In a nutshell, the big three, your sun, moon, and rising, is your more accurate personality. It is the core of your personality and it's what you show to the world. Think of them as like a three-part story. If you are someone who's an artist, the motivation, the emotions, the feeling of the art is your moon sign. The strokes of the art is your sun sign, and how everyone sees the painting is your rising sign. But let's start with your core self, which is the sun. The sun is the most popular thing. This is what everyone thinks they should look at in horoscopes, which really is your rising sign. But when you pick up a magazine, you look at if you're a sun Cancer, then you look at the Cancer sign. But you really should look at your rising sign. But anyway, the sun itself is the planet that gives us life, vitality, but it gives us warmth. The sun sign is the most popular thing in the zodiac. And why? Because it is the biggest thing. It also rules Leo, so it's on stage. Everyone look at me. It is the biggest part to what a lot of people who don't know astrology deem to be important. But your zodiac sign is where the sun was placed while you were born. It governs your individuality. It is your drive. It also helps you fulfill your goals. It outlines your life. It's the identity that makes you. It also is in charge of your confidence and your ego. The sun also, where it is in your natal chart, highlights a big part, the big themes wherever the sun is in your natal chart. In Roman astrology, in Vedic astrology, sun is not as important as the moon sign. The moon sign is really more important. The sun sign, though, is the energy you're meant to express in your lifetime. For example, if you're a Leo, you're meant to shine bright. You're an actress or an actor. You're on stage. You get a lot of attention. You are a strong leader. You're very courageous. Oh, also too, I forgot to say, your sun sign is what you got from your father. Your father gave you your sun sign. And it says a lot about your father. It says a lot about the masculine energy you carry. The sun is a masculine planet or celestial body. And it says a lot about your father, who he is, who he was, what he stands for, and how it affects you, how your father affects you. Now, the moon sign is the opposite. The moon reflects the sun, and the moon sign represents your mother. It represents your mom's story. It represents her personality. It represents her history. It even represents your relationship with your mom. Complete opposite of the sun. The sun also symbolizes your inner mom. How do you protect? How do you nurture? How do you take care? It also is the psyche of your formative years. The moon is how you are behind closed doors. It's where you want comfort, the way you like to live in your nest lasting, how you connect your feelings with your family, and places you grow up. So the sun represents your will, while the moon represents your instinctive reactions. The moon stands for your unconscious, while the sun stands for represents your consciousness. The sun is about your individuality, while the moon represents your personality. It's where it's most hidden, the moon, and it's who you truly know yourself as, your moon sign. It's how you are behind closed doors. You cannot complete a whole picture with the sun sign. You need the moon sign to make this whole person. So think of your personality as your sun sign and your moon sign. The moon is also your emotional stimuli. It's a part that enjoys the sensuality of life. And the moon can get really esoteric, right? Because it's dealing with the subconscious, it's dealing with our emotions, it's dealing with our psyche. It represents your childhood and your dreams, your memory, your past, all of the emotions and things you really cannot touch. That is in that moon energy. Where the sun is very physical. You see it. It just basically shows your emotional world, how you feel, your instincts, how you feel safe, and how you feel loved. So, for example, if you are a Cancer moon, because the moon represents Cancer, the moon rules Cancer. And if you are a moon in Cancer, you're very intuitive. You're very empathetic. You can feel a lot. Also, you're very nurturing and sensitive. Could be very moody as well. Now, let's talk about your rising sign, right? So we talked about your sun sign. We talked about your moon sign, which I personally believe we should talk about the moon sign first and then the sun sign. And now we're talking about our rising sign. Now, the rising sign, you have to have your birth time. And the rising sign pretty much sets up the tone for your birth chart. If you are getting your chart read or want to know your true astrological natal chart reading. But your rising sign is also called an ascendant. So if you hear someone say your ascendant and rising, it's the same thing. It is the zodiac sign that was rising on the eastern horizon at the same exact time you were born. Now, your rising sign can represent your physical body, your personal identity, how you assert yourself about getting what you want, how you handle the world. A lot of people know that the rising sign is that mask. It is the identity that people see when you're not saying anything. It's that immediate judgment. That's why they call it a mask. It's also your personal bodyguard. It is the welcome mat when people come into your home. That welcome mat is your rising sign. And that rising sign really sets up your whole natal chart. So it's really important to know that. The rising sign also reflects on how you are really in the inside, how you deal with others at home, how you are in your relationship. The rising sign also helps determine how you are outside when you go to work, how you are in a workplace. It's your outward demeanor. It's how the outside world sees you. And it is what the world sees first, like that welcome mat. It's the very first impression people see. It is immediate. It is the immediate thing, bigger than the sunshine that people see. So it is that first impression. So that personality you get with the sun sign, and that emotional self you get with the moon sign, and that mask that you carry. Put those all three together and you have the perfect big three, which makes your big personality. The rising sign is also the vibe and the energy you get off without even saying anything, your body language, and how people see you at a first glance. It is the cover to the book, right? And how many people say don't judge a book by its cover, but we do. So, for example, if you are Libra rising, you can come off very charming, very balanced without even saying anything. You're probably really pretty. You could be very diplomatic. You seem very friendly and approachable. And you seem like you will be fine to have a one-on-one or a partnership with, just off of not saying anything. And the rising is really important for a lot of astrologers because, again, it sets up the chart. So let's throw some examples out here. So we'll do Pamela Anderson, right? Pamela Anderson was born July 1st, 1967, and we have a birth time on her. She was born at 4:08 a.m., and she was born in Lady British Columbia in Canada. So her sun sign is she's a Cancer. Her moon sign is that she's an Aries, and her rising sign is she's a Gemini. Cancer is dealing with mother aspects, and she wears a lot of white, right? Yes, home and her children are very important to her, and also the past. And if you know Pamela Anderson, her past is really important too. The things that she's done in the past, I think she'll be always remarkable for those things. Now, her moon sign, and also too, she does a lot of things regarding the home currently. She does a lot of like HD TV shows, if you see what she does now, and it represents her Cancer. Now, her moon sign, which is in Aries. Ooh, and this is her emotional self. Aries is very fiery, first of all. It's very impulsive. It likes to be very independent. It's about the self, and it's also about the first. And she was the first to do something at home, which the moon represents the home. It was regarding something that's dealing with intimacy in a videotape, and she was the first. Her and her she was married, spouse at the time, were the first to do that. And that says a lot about that moon in Aries, first of all. But she's also very bold and very quick to react. And Mars is the ruler of Aries. And so that Aries energy gets her a very sexy kind of energy at home. Okay. And her rising sign is that she's a Gemini. So if she didn't say anything, she seems like she's very talkative, very outgoing, very social. Maybe she uses her hands a lot. Geminis always look younger and are very slender with the body. But Geminis are very talkative and very curious and very adaptable. Without even asking her anything, if we didn't know her being famous, that is what we think. And we put those all together and it makes this wonderful Pamela Anderson, of course, with all the other stuff. But we just focused on the big three. Now, I'll do one more, and she's somewhat like Pamela Anderson, but we have Marilyn Monroe. And she was born in Los Angeles, California, in the United States, January 1st, 1926 at 9:30 a.m. Now, she is a Leo rising, right? Leo rising, you already know. Donald Trump is a Leo rising, by the way. But you're talking about someone who is a star. And right away, she gives this very star presence. Leo's hair is very important. And the rising sign gives you the physical look. So hair is very important to them. But Leo rising is very commanding of attention, very glamorous, very radiant, very magnetic and charming, okay? Now, she is a Gemini sun. That means that she was very talkative. If we knew her, she probably was very flirtatious and curious and multifaceted. A Gemini can become all at once. Also, two Geminis could be funny. And because they're multifaceted, they can be very confusing to people because you could probably get one side of a person and then they change another side. Speaking of multifaceted, she also has an Aquarius moon. Now, usually Aquarius doesn't like to be very emotional. And now her moon sign, the planet of emotions, is in the sign of Aquarius. So that means she could be very detached when it comes to emotions or very cool. And also, too, could be very friendly at home. Now, Aquarius is very different. So emotionally, she could have been very different at home. Her home could have been very unique. Also, too, I find Aquarius to be very private. So I bet you she was very emotionally private, or when she felt safe, it was very secretive. But they also like to feel free. So Aquarius loves freedom and independence. So emotionally, she had to be independent, and when she felt safe, she needed her independence. And also to remember, the moon sign represents your mother, the sun sign represents your father. So in this case, we can say, and I don't know anything about Marilyn Monroe or Pamela Anderson. I know Pamela Anderson more, but let's say Marilyn Monroe, you can say that her mother was very different or very unique or very intelligent, because that's what that Aquarius represents if it has positive aspects. And then her father, because she was a Gemini. Oh yes, it was. And they had very positive aspects with the sun. It was a trine, but they're both air signs. So that basically the father was very outgoing and friendly. Both of them could have been very social people. Anyway, so to wrap it up, that is what we have for our big three. I hope I answered your questions, and that you understand that basically the big three makes up your big personality. So that rising is that mask, is what people first see. The sun sign is that personality. It's when people really get to know you, and this is what they see and they know how you are, the big themes in your life. And then that moon sign is your emotional side. It's when you are behind closed doors and people finally get to see you cry. So if you guys enjoyed that, don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Oh, and you got to hit the bell because we have more questions, right? I will answer all your questions. All right. I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye bye.